Backstage! 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 Backstage!
Hello and a very warm welcome to episode 90 of the Sussex by the Sea podcast. It's a brand new year. Hope your Christmases and New Year's were good. On the show this week, unfortunately this week no Hastings report, but what we do have is a review of 22 with that man, Hughes boss, Gary Elphick, and that legend up front, Ben Pope, joins us on the fan roundtable as we go in depth on what was a cracking year for Hastings United on the pitch. Enjoy, football fans. First of all, over to the song pick, and I picked this one for me dad. I miss ya.
Al Capone guns don't hurt you. Don't call me Scarface. My name is Capone. C-A-P-O-N-E. Capone. Al Capone. My name is Capone.
And now over to the very special SBTS fan roundtable review of 22. And many thanks to Malcolm, Ian, John, George, and of course, bossman Gary Elphick and Ben Pope for making it happen. We could just crack into Monday's game otherwise.
Just where Ben switches off.
No. Ben's going to give us an honest assessment of the Horsham game, aren't you, Ben?
I can give you an honest assessment. I've had better days and I've had worse, to be fair.
Well,
You've had worse than that.
No. Slap him, Ben. Don't let him get his, I know he's Daddy Stone. What?
He's not a striker, is he? Never has been.
First of all, introductions quickly. Thank you for the fan round table. We've got the lovely big agent Malk here, Ian Grant, Georgie plays the drum, Johnny Wheels, Johnny get your teeth in, Wheels, and of course the mighty Ben Pope. We're waiting for Super Gary Elphick. Apparently Ben's saying his timekeeping's not very good, so we'd have to obviously ask that to Gary. First of all, let's talk about Horsham. Should we go straight to Ben, or shall we go round the room? So what?
Straight to Ben.
Straight to Ben. Okay, right. So Ben, a cracking effort from yourself. No. You created a lot of chances. There was probably one that I'd say, I'm sure you're putting it away. That one you just put wide. So that one at the end.
Wide either, to be fair. It was a shocking attempt, but I don't know. It happens sometimes in the moment. All happens quick. That was a gutter. That was a gutter.
But the goalie pulled off a couple of, at least 2-3 excellent saves. He was on form. To keep us out, because I thought we were fairly impressive. I think we didn't really give Horsham too much of a sniff until
I think they had a couple of early shots went over, didn't they, in the first half?
Yeah, that's over. Like the penalty.
Apart from that, I thought we controlled the game from front to back. Absolutely controlled the game, and to not come away with 3 points is really disappointing, to be honest. Yeah, it was frustrating, but at the same time, we were at their place, and they'd been on a run of form. I think had they won the last 4? I could be wrong here. I've been doing, I think, yeah.
And we more than matched them. So it would have been an absolute crime if they'd have scored that penalty. Yeah, that's my saving grace, to be fair. Well, it was a nice little reaction after the penalty was taken as well, just to remind them that they missed it. It was very good. I like that.
Shock horror who were at the front of it as well.
And, hang on, Super Gary's here. All right, Gary?
Far from it. Yeah, all good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, well, yeah. I've had better months, mate. We're talking Horsham, and Ben was just saying that he may have put a couple wide on Monday. But what was your thoughts going through the game? Obviously, they'd had a good run of form at Horsham. I think we bossed them. I mean, what do you think about it?
I felt we dominated for large periods of the game, especially sort of first half. We had the better chances of the two teams. I felt we caused them problems all afternoon, and it was just like for me, Ben, probably one of the man of the matches. He didn't stop running, and the only thing that was missing was a goal. There was a couple of other standout performers. Jake Elliott, Alex Breffo, once again was immense. Sort of getting back to where he was. Stoney's getting back to where he was. Everything's looking in shape and order for what we've got to do this month. There's a big run of games now. I think it's 8 games coming up this January. So, unfortunately, I don't think the Tom Chalmers injury is looking that great at the moment. That looks to be maybe a little bit of an issue there. So, we're going to have to box clever. We're going to have to use the whole squad at times, and maybe also dip into maybe bringing a body or two in, because I think the momentum's there now. And too good of an opportunity for us as a football club to let that pass us by. I think we've got to strike while the iron's hot. So hopefully we can bring in some personnel to help us out as a squad. But I just couldn't be any more prouder of our lads. Like, once again, what a fantastic festive period. Train hard. That's why we do our homework. That's why we've got the points return that we have got. It's preparation from all the lads and from the staff, and that's why everything's looking positive so far, but nothing's won now. We need to keep this going, and it's a massive couple of months coming up for us.
Chaps, anyone want to ask any questions or talk about Horsham?
No, I thought it was one of the best performances of the season. Really, when you think Horsham have been one of the top teams in that division for the last few seasons, and we kind of dominated the match against them. I thought, looking at it, that it was Ben back to his best. Really thought it was an impressive display. And your shots, Ben, were the only shots that the keeper didn't get near. No, no, but what I really, really think it was a fantastic performance back. No sign of the injury problems and just a really competitive, aggressive, tenacious performance. So well done, Ben. Just missing the goal, but that's all right.
Yeah. Like you say, to be fair, like injuries and illness-wise, I think I looked at it actually in the first 90 minutes I've completed, probably maybe even all season nearly. Fitness for me is a big thing, which is only probably just really I'd say fully fit at the moment. Otherwise, I'd say I've struggled with that definitely this season. So it's nice to feel that way, and then hopefully giving out performances like that week in, week out.
Yeah,
you very much look back to your best against Lewis as well, I thought, really. And I'm guessing you're not going to get any Christmas cards from the Lewis defenders.
Well, considering probably around the corner, unless they live in London like the whole of Lewis does, then I don't think I will be.
George, anything?
Yeah, great day out. Just funny what the Horsham match report said about Ben, about him having deceptive pace, which is one of my favourite veiled compliments, and him being surprisingly quick. I don't think they could understand how quick Ben was, and he couldn't get over it. And the reaction after the penalty was brilliant. Just reminded me of the reaction with Arsenal and Ruvan Nistelrooy when he hit the bar that time, and Martin Keown jumped on his back. It was just wonderful to see. I don't know what Louis said to their player though to rattle him that much, but it was good to see everyone on a wind up at the end of the game.
Louis wouldn't have said too much.
No.
I think the culprit is Sam Essler.
Never.
Oh yeah, 100%. Lord Farquhar, he was straight in there.
Oh dear. That's good. That you've told me that now. Thank you. A Lord Farquhar poster's coming your way.
He'll be buzzing with that.
Yeah.
Marks, anything? You were there, obviously, sir.
Yeah, I just from an oldies point of view, it was just a proper game of football. I think he had everything in it. I think the players enjoyed it. It was feisty at times, and proper game of football. There's been a couple of them that we've seen this season. Folkestone away was one of them, and I think Monday was another one. It was a good 0-0 draw. I enjoyed the game, I must admit.
Do you want to use mine? What is it? You want to go on the phone or something?
Get this all
You're
the time.
listening to me. Not wasting my time here.
He's got a bed.
Fuck off, get out.
What do you want to do?
Professional podcast, this.
For Ben and Gary's
Sorry. Go on, sorry.
Ben and Gary, we have this every week when we have the podcast.
Yeah.
He has to deal with his 400 children. He's running a nursery at the same
Oh,
time.
don't, mate. Oh, no.
I thought you was doing a Gerwin Price here.
Don't. But there's only two of them in the house at the moment, so
Yeah, invariably he has to run off to deal with a diarrhea attack or something like that. But it's usually his own.
Thank you, John. Right then, so Horsham. That's Horsham. Now, what I got you boys on for, you wonderful Gary and Ben, and obviously everyone else, was we're going to kind of do a review of 22. First of all, Gary, Ben, so it's the beginning of the year. What was? Can you take yourself back there? Can you remember what your targets were for January? And I mean, the fixtures are up there. I don't know if you can see them or not.
Yeah.
Because obviously the squad was a lot different. I think at the time we kind of had issues with the winger, like we were swapping wingers in and out a little bit, as I remember. But I could be wrong there. What was your kind of? We'll go. I suppose we'll go to Gary first, but what was your kind of targets for January? Did you just expect that we're just winning all these games and
not to have any cabbages thrown at me really at the first two games? So January was brilliant because we'd come through the period absolutely flying, and we was winning games horrible as well. I remember Whitehawk away, which there was nothing between the two teams on the day, but we managed to get a win. Then we got a great draw at VCD away. There was a few people down with, because this was a COVID period as well. So we had loads of staff and players going down with COVID. So they were huge wins. And I thought they were wins that showed we had the character to go on and win the league. We had the bottle. We had the psychology just absolutely right. So it was almost sort of, I almost call it sort of autopilot month, where it was just keeping it the same. The training ground was the best I've ever known it. The banter, the fit, the detail we was going through, and still to this day, it's just the best group of lads I've ever been involved with in my whole career. They're just absolute friends on and off the pitch, but they'll be honest with each other. I like to think that, honest with them, I don't think I've ever bullshitted anyone. I tell them how it is, and I'd rather someone sort of say, I always think like back on it, and when all is said and done, and they say, I played under Gary Elphick, that, you know, they might not say I'm a good coach, good manager, whatever, but they would say I'm an honest fella that sort of said exactly how I felt and didn't bullshit a good manager. So on the year, I thought January was an autopilot month for me, and it just went on and it snowballed into bigger and better things. It was a fantastic squad. There was a couple of key decisions along the way. I remember getting abuse for letting Lamre Assis go. I think I was right. Cisse, we had to deal with him because
didn't we, Gary? Did we not? When it we played Lancing, and as it Diallo was playing for them, wasn't he? And then did we get him in as well, didn't
we? We got him in. They're little vehicles. I call them vehicles to carry on, and when we need a few players here and there and bodies. But when you look at it, I think as I've released, I think I've got right. Maybe in the first instance, I should never have brought them in, but that's another day to talk about. That's another opinion. But Cisse actually was a strange one, because I remember Ashford away, he was absolutely phenomenal. The one I actually, out of them all, that I thought actually brings something to the table, but then I actually think I've released him at the right time as well. I remember sitting born away when he played up with some of there's some antics off the pitch, and I just thought,
don't need it.
And the club comes first. That, as I always say to players, that badge that you're wearing on your shirt, that always is at the top of everything we do. So bang on. Then it was just carnival after that, wasn't it? Carnival atmosphere every week. It was brilliant.
Oh, well, we're talking about January for now, but just quickly, but Ben, I see you've got a couple of goals there. You've got to remember most of your goals. A couple of goals against Faversham. Anything you want to say? Just easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Like Gary said, we're just in autopilot. I mean, the dressing, we were just flying. We just turn up anywhere and just think, we'll win. Like, by all means necessary as well. Like, we'd kick lumps out of people if we had to do it the dirty way, or we'd bop people and play pretty sexy football. I think it was just, everything was just perfect at the time. So, and that was, I think, is it Burgess Hill there we lose to, didn't we, in the league? That 11 wins on a row or something, was it?
It was
flying. We were flying, and at that point, I think
some big wins as well, isn't there? Like, you look at Whitstable away when Kenny scored.
Well, I was going to say that was my highlight of the month. Whitstable, they were rubbish, weren't they? Really, but they managed to keep the game 0-0. We weren't at our best, and just to see Kenny coming on and scoring, the joy in it. It was beautiful.
No, the pitch was a pudding, wasn't it? It was hard to even start on your feet that day. And I thought, this is a potential. I'd actually say that was one of the moments where I looked around at our dugout and thought, this is ours this year.
Fellas, you want to talk anything about January? George, John, Malk, Ian, any specific highlight of any memory of January?
The Whitstable win, wasn't it? It was just massive, and we just started just win games where we might not have previously, sort of a year before, and get late winners, last minute winners. And as we'll see as we go through the year, it seems to happen more and more, and just win those really tight games. Perhaps as what Gary was saying about, the unit being really tight, sort of brings that. But it's great for the fans as well, and a late winner sometimes is better than a 4 or 5-0.
And I was just going to say, Ashford away was the days ever. Like,
Jan as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was I think it's 29th of Jan, but we Ben will tell you, we worked all week on a game plan for that, and sometimes you get it wrong as a management group and a playing group, but we got it off to an absolute tee that day. And I even remember coming in at half time when they equalised, which wasn't deserved really, because we was much the better team, and we kept our cool, and we're going to have to overcome these obstacles. And second half was absolutely fantastic. And I always felt against Ashford, we always got too emotional in the dressing room. I mean, that was not, fans, you go off your rocker, but I always felt we made a massive thing about Ashford dressing room. And I just remember telling the boys, I just said, it's another game. They've got strengths and weaknesses, and it's about how we overcome it. And that was my favourite ever. Well, I'd have to say it's my best day of management so far. Even when winning the league and that, but that was where you could look back and think, blimey, hell, we smashed out the ballpark that day.
And that was one of my favourite away days as well. On the terraces, it was just as entertaining. There was just as much to look at. If it wasn't Gary Isted in a yellow mankini, arguing with the stewards, trying to sound sensible, and then that second half, the winner, and then Popey coming over and leading the Ashford Get Battered anthem. That it was just a great day out.
I think that time as well when we beat them was like points wise, we were that was the moment we sort of all knew that was when we'd win it. That was it was a good day, very good day.
All right, and no one else on January? No. Be quick. So I don't know, you could see that, but once we move on to February, what we got? We got
Sitting Bull.
Sitting Bull. Obviously, it's a highlight for you, George, because they tried to assault you, didn't they? Well, they did assault you, didn't they? Really?
Only one punch around the back of the head, but it is what it is. We that was a great day out, and obviously right up against it, down to 10 men for ages, quite a long time, weren't we? And right at the last.
1-0 down, weren't we?
Yeah, we were under it really. Against a bunch of fans that you just really want to beat. So, that would be a pick for me, Sitting Bull away.
John, say the song you started to the Sitting Bull fans.
I think it was more fans than Chiefs, wasn't it? There were a load of toothless fans behind the goal that I think they would have bitten George if they could have. But,
Gary, Ben, any of your thoughts on February? Obviously,
I was out for Sitting Bull. Don't know if I was suspended or injured, and then Chichester as well. I think I was still ill or struggling. So a bit of a write-off. But what's that? Win, is it? So
nice.
You were injured, I think. Yeah, you were injured, Sitting Bull.
Yeah.
Just going to say, really, if you look at it, there's sort of one standout game per month, isn't there? And Sitting Bull is definitely the standout game in that month.
I think Sitting Bull was a game for me. I think that going back a little bit on January, I think everybody else was winning around us and that type of thing as well. And it was always a little bit, every game it was, I'm not sure. But I think to go to Sitting Bull away, and it was lashing down, wasn't it? It wasn't a great day. And it's never nice to go to Sitting Bull at any time. And I think going 1-0 down and then down to 10 men and coming back and winning then, I think it was after that we actually, certainly I did. I thought, this year's one, it's that was a game I think that turned it. That if you can go there and do that with 10 men, then you deserve it. And I think the other teams looked at it then and thought, well, we can't catch these now.
It was also the most surreal moment of the season to drive into the game, and we see this bloke sort of recognise him waiting for a bus, and it was Cisse. So and we picked him up, and he's like, "Do you want a lift?" And he was like, "I think I do." It's all like quite quiet and polite, isn't it? And he got in the back of our Fiat Panda, squeezed in, thought he might have a knee injury by the time we got to the ground, and sort of wished him on his way when he got to the ground. Last time I give a player a lift. I
never knew that.
If any of the players are like thumbing for a lift and I drive past them, there's a reason why. It's Cisse's fault. Yeah, strange one that.
The thing is, he storms off as well, doesn't he? He does his bit and in the dressing room and storms off, and he's got to get all the way back to London, and he didn't have a clue how to get there.
No, he was looking at the bus
timetable at some bus stop. He didn't have a clue where he was going, and Sitting Bull's out in the middle of nowhere. It's not the greatest place to get to London from.
I never knew you done Uber driving, George.
I was driving there, and my good lady was driving home, so it was a decent deal for that day.
Right then, okay. Moving on to March. I think Ben might like the 5th of March, a tidy hat-trick against Corinthian, who we
deserve that as well. The bastards at their place.
Oh, that was the most depressing game ever. That one.
Yeah, that was a bad day. It was a bad day, and they were winding me up So that hat trick,
Oh dear.
yeah,
Ponytail FC, weren't they? Had a few ponytails, didn't they?
yeah. Best play actor I've ever seen. That was Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I remember him. I think his dad was in the crowd or something, and he even said that he was diving around everywhere. I'm sure.
Well,
John, did you?
It was embarrassing. The ref was terrible.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, that home game was a nice bit of sweet revenge.
Yeah, they went down. Did they go down? I'm sure Corinthian went down, didn't they?
No, they're
No.
going to
still
go
in
down
the-
this season, hopefully.
Oh, okay. That's the most depressed I've ever seen George was after that Corinthian away game, wasn't it,
I was
George?
quite annoyed. I was a bit annoyed, Chris.
Kicking the drum, kicking it everywhere.
I was just throwing stuff around. Yeah, it was just a bad day out. There was no decent beer anywhere, no food. So
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but we're
terrible.
3-0 win. That's what we like. And then we beat Cray Valley.
Which
Three
is
Bridges.
probably that's your standout game of that month, isn't it? Cray
Massive.
Valley away to go there and get a win there. Because even this year we've experienced a negative result there this year. So I think it's always a difficult place to go. Slightly slow pitch, and yeah, he was good that day as well.
Yeah. Anyone else with thoughts on March? Anyone?
Yeah, that was 1-0 down at being 1-0 down at half time at Cray Valley, and then Hasler sort of dominated the second half for us, and massive win. That big performance from him.
Dicko rising at the far post to nod that one in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I launched someone's back garden. God knows where it ended up.
Like, it was Craig Valley, obviously not a good side, and you just think they got no fans though. Like for us turning up, only 280 there, and I'm sure we bought a few that day, didn't we? I remember Dicko jumping at us.
Yeah, we'd have been 150 of that at least. So
Yeah.
not more. Nice club though. So.
What about Three Bridges? Was that Finn's overhead kick?
No, that was
earlier, wasn't it?
Oh no, that was
um,
Mark. Well, that wasn't it?
That's when he got his new contract, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
East Grinstead away was fantastic. That was probably
most
fun away day that,
Yeah.
and celebrating in the clubhouse afterwards, because I think Ashford drew in the last minute, and we
it become bloody boring though.
but once we won, yeah.
In about how long was it? 15 minutes, 3-0. It was a shocker after that for us. It was just like blood of whistle.
Yeah, their keeper had a tag on, didn't he? He had a
that was him, yeah.
tag on. We were singing "We're from Hastings, we know that's a tag," and he loved it. He did a Jaeger bomb with us after the game. Top bloke. Yeah, good fun.
When you look at that, even when you look at the running, like how many clean sheets we've kept, even there, it's just and that's the most pleasing thing about this year as well. Is still solid. I think Hornchurch is the biggest defeat we've had so far. We've been beaten by more than one goal other than that game. So that just shows you the unity in the group and the togetherness. So yeah, it was good. And then obviously you had the Haywards Heath game, which was a bit of a shocker because obviously everyone was wanting to win that day with the biggest crowd ever and blah de blah. So I remember that actually was a nightmare for a manager to manage that situation, because it was obviously the club have got to promote what they've got to promote and get the crowd in, which we deserve. But just to try and keep everyone sort of nice and steady and calm was I actually found that quite a tough week actually as a manager.
They weren't too bad a side then either, and they did just come and part the butt. Horrible.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. Yeah, I wouldn't want to relive that day again, really.
They didn't play along at all, did they? Really, with the occasion. It's funny enough, because I must have been at loads of these games, but the only one I can actually remember anything about is the 0-0 draw. So I don't know what that says about me. But yeah, there was a right old battle that game. It really was.
I remember TC being really nervous, like he was just not himself that day in that game. I'm sure it was him.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. Yeah. Because I remember that was part of my speech to the players afterwards. Which has happened actually, because I said to them that they would stand them in good stead, because I was wondering about that before the Lewis game on Boxing Day, where if any of the youngsters would succumb to nerves or anything like that. But obviously they've cracked on from there and they've developed both mentally and physically, and we performed the way we did that day. So it all stands us in good stead. So it's all lessons along the way.
Was it difficult to manage as well when you dominate a league, which we had kind of done for 3 seasons, and then you win it almost too early? How do you get the players' minds in the right place for those remaining? want to go out on a high, but want to be promoted on a high, but you've won it psychologically. That's in your head, isn't it?
What I kept trying to do was get up previous records. So I kept banging the drum about when Craig Wanderers won that league and the records they held, both goals scored, goals conceded, the amount of wins. And I was basically trying to grab anything like that to sort of say to the lads, like, the legacy, if we're going to win this league, we're going to go out all guns blazing and put our stamp on it that Hastings was probably the best team that ever won that division for the last decade or whatever. But that's how I tried to get players focused on was those sort of achievements, and I'm pretty sure we did. I think we went up with a couple of records intact, so it was pleasing. But you are right. Obviously, everyone loves a fairy tale. Everyone would have loved either the Hail Teeth game or you win it on the last day of the season. But it's crazy when I look back when I first took over at the club, and if someone said to me you would have won the league by that margin, I would have walked away from them. I just would have thought that was absolute crazy, guys. So it was unbelievable, really.
Yeah, I mean, Faversham was great playing away and winning it there, and everyone on the pitch, and including Kev doing donuts around the circle.
Yeah. He improved the pitch, actually.
A roller on it.
Yeah. But no, it was good. It was good. Good memories. But I just think I was telling my missus I was out every Saturday for like the last 6 weeks of the season. But kept coming home early. She's like, "What are you doing home?" I was like, "Yeah, another week, darling, another week." So it's good to finally get over the line, and places in Faversham in the UK, is there? So, yeah.
Was VCD Kenny Pogue scoring with his lob? Was that the VCD game?
Yeah.
Came on as a sub, and
he don't like to talk about that.
Does he not?
No, Kenny does not like to talk about that lob.
Hardly mentioned it, is he?
Yeah.
Well, he still thinks he was offside, doesn't
he? He still thinks he's on the bench for us every week.
I love him, man. Love him. Yeah, it was great to see him back actually recently. It was nice to see him at the game. Lovely bloke.
Hero. Yeah, he's good. Yeah. Blinder.
Yeah, and then obviously the last game of the season we lost, but we were kind of already in party mode, weren't we, really, Gary?
Yeah, I think a few of the players were already in Portugal. It was, once again, it's not an enjoyable game to manage, really, because that is a game whereby you can talk about records, you ain't really going to get the players' focus. It was gone, it was won, and it was done. And I think even myself included, I wanted to have a bit of time out and get away on holiday. And the least said about that game, the better. I think that was actually, well, that was the thing that annoyed me, actually. Their manager's slightly, he's sort of Pep Guardiola. He's a tactical genius, their manager.
Hang on, we've already got a Pep Guardiola.
No, not like that. He's good. The Seven Oaks manager, he's unbelievable. And but I think we was passing a pound coin around on the pitch for a drinking game, and I was trying to sort of get some information onto the lads' pitch. And I think Kenny Pogue got subbed that day, come off and dropped the pound coin, and I didn't actually even spot it. So I think that they won't take the piss out of me that day, Chris. But good memories, and memories that will last a lifetime for me. Whatever happens in my life from now on in, it's I'll always talk about them times fondly.
Didn't Norrie score in front of his mum on that day, though?
Yes.
Yeah.
It got kicked at him, didn't it? I mean,
it's beautiful strike.
Him out.
So, season over. There's no peace for the wicked. You've obviously got to look at the squad, look at who you're going to part ways with, who you're going to bring in. I mean, what was your mental processes? Probably, obviously, begun before the end of the season, but what was your mindset like in terms of what you're bringing in, what you're keeping?
Yeah, it was. It's funny. It's still probably for at the moment. I wanted to get pace in the team. I wanted to have Dave Martin going, Kenny Pogue going, and we had to try and get players in to replace them. And we tried to in the guys we brought in, Kai, Jill. If I'm honest with you again, Chris, it didn't work out. I think I was right to release them two, also Danny Parish, at the moment I'm right. I hope they one day sort of prove me wrong. And I do, and I genuinely mean that, because they're all nice people, they're all good lads. But if you look at all what they're doing now at the moment, they've all dropped down a league and they're struggling to get in their respective teams at the moment. So I was wrong to even bring them in the first place, but you have to give it a go. I had a target I can't make public, but there was a list I had of players that I wanted to go and get. I still look at that list and I wish I still could have bought one or two of those in. I'm not going to lie.
Well, one of them playing for Horsham.
Comment. They're the sort of types you're looking for. To be honest with you, to be brutally honest. But once again, as well, you've got to be sensible with the budget. I've been given a budget that I've got to adhere to, which I have done. And also, you've got to make sure you're still getting the right character in, because the hardest part for me is I cannot break this dressing room up. I can't break the mentality, the friendship, and it only takes one bad egg to come in and the whole thing implodes. And I will always be that. I will always be a protector of the dressing room and the people that are sitting in it. And that's what makes Hastings a special team and a special club, and one we should cherish. And I'm not talking about the staff. I'm talking about them players on the pitch, because what they've done this year is top notch. And I mean that. They're brilliant.
So, Ben, just quickly, Ben, so you're going into the off-season. What's your thoughts? Have you got any targets in your mind, or are you a few old scores you're going to look forward to getting involved in again?
It's just probably testing myself at that level again. I left Lewis in the Ryman Premier to come to Hastings, and I think I scored 4 in 10 for them in a short period. So I've always been confident I could sort of play this level. I've just want to crack on and score goals this season, regardless. Just every game I want to go into, I want to try and get my name on the score sheet. Give and take a few injuries and illnesses, like I've said earlier. I think, that probably the only thing that I feel might not have been in my favour this season, but at the moment, I was fully focused on getting fit and just playing again and enjoying football with this team, because it is, it's a special group of players. So
it certainly is. Right, boys that are listening, what was your thoughts? How did you think we were going to get on in the close season? I spoke to Mark. How did you think we were going to get on?
I'd just like to say, listening to Gary, who'd want to be a manager? Because at the end of the day, you say, these are great guys and all that sort of thing. Being nice to, or being friends and being nice to players, if you like, for want of a better word, doesn't make you successful, and doesn't always win you friends. So you've done well in what to keep a nice group of lads together, and they've done well for you and for themselves. Because at the end of the day, it's sometimes you have to do things, the nasty things, again, for want of a better word, things that you don't really want to do, and you like the guys and that, but you've got to be successful, and the team to be successful and do the job that you're paid to do. You have to do them things, don't you? And say, it's best that we part company. But going back to the question that you asked, I think I always thought, as long as you could keep the majority of those together, winning the league and rolling on through, and just adding a couple more players to it, I always thought we'd do well in this league above. And as Gary said, the youngsters learnt from the season before, and they took that into this year, and they've done really well.
Looking at it now, we've gone up to a very tough league, and a year ago, what position were we in the league lower? Trying to think, because that's an amazing thing for me. You haven't really changed the squad too much, and yet you've brought that spirit, that champion spirit from last season, kept your dressing room with the right atmosphere, and now doing it. What an amazing position we are. Just slightly under the radar, but right there in the hunt for the playoff places, and that's fantastic. And what I just had to remind myself is, Gary, you were playing at the start of last season, weren't you? To make that transition to manager, and it's going back to what Malk said. Really, it's such a a thing that very often fails, really, because you're there shoulder to shoulder on the pitch with your mates, your teammates, and then suddenly you've got to be in this managerial role and step back and make those tough decisions, think about the team rather than just the people you're playing with. And I think that's what's been really impressive from my point of view.
Yeah, go on, George.
Oh, just always hope to win more than you lose, really. But it was a massive unknown. And I think for a lot of promoted teams this season, opportunities are there with a lot of teams like ourselves who should have been promoted in previous couple of years. It was always really open. So Herne Bay have found out, what a tough division it is. I think everyone's really, really pleased with how it's gone so far. I think we're at a time at the club where the fans are happier than the management and the players about how we're doing. So I think it's usually quite a good sign. So yeah, just enjoying it.
Ian?
Yeah, I think you want to be competitive, don't you, going up? And there was an initial bit of a wobble. It was, slightly sticky start, but you kind of felt like we would get there. And I suppose expectations are always quite high because you've got a home crowd that's used to winning. So that makes things a bit tricky sometimes. I think from a personal point of view, I love seeing the kids come through. So what I wanted was to see that process continuing at the high level, which it has, which is great. Because that's it's one of the things I really love about gym football is seeing the kids come through from the lower ranks kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously August, bit of a sticky start. I remember it being a sweltering game against Averley, wasn't it? It was really, really hot. I can remember it being ridiculous.
Yeah, very.
And just a slip of the mind, and they sneaked to win.
And it was there's an obvious mistake as well, wasn't it, from the officials? It went
5 yards off the pit.
Yeah, it's actually one of the few games where we were under par that day. We didn't play well. We should have been better, but we still should have at least had a draw. But yeah, it was a sticky start, that's for sure. And from my first management period with Worthing, I think that's where it come in good stead for me, because not to get sort of too emotional, too down, wanting to change too much. It was just stay calm, get back on the training ground and keep hammering home good habits and how we want to play. And I think just for me personally, that was just where a little bit of experience come through for me at the right time, because I had a lot of people ringing me, get this player in, get that player in, do this, do that. And sometimes you've got to be your own man and stay solid to yourself. And I'm not saying that another spell like that will be coming. It will happen to me one day. That's why I always get a little bit edgy sort of talking to you guys, because as well as things are going at the moment, there will be a day where I'm a Wally, I'm thick, I'm making the wrong decisions. And
we'd never say that, Gary. Come on.
No, but I'm sorry, it's football.
I know people are fickle.
And I've seen the highs and lows. And as I always say to Malcolm in the clubhouse, and we laugh about it, I'm in the job for another week, and that is that is literally how I view my job. But that is one of the few times where I just kept grounded and kept hammering home good habits, along with John, Meany, and Brownie. Them sort of bank on it. And that's the other thing as well. It's not all me. They're absolutely massive to me to lean on. My senior players also. I speak to Stoney loads, Dicko, Pope, all of them. They've all got opinions of the game, and sometimes there's some that you've got to listen to, and there's some that you say, no, I don't agree. But that's one thing. I think you've got to be open-minded, but then at the end of the day, you've got to know it's on your shoulders, and you come down to the final decision. It was a sticky start, but I'm blimmin' happy that I stuck to my guns about certain things, and we cracked on.
I certainly did.
I know, just picking up on that, Gary, I know, we have a laugh about it, and it is just a laugh. But I think most of the Hastings fans as well have been through it with you and know, if you see what I mean. We know that we can lose to Averley and Hornchurch and them sort of thing. 2 or 3 games maybe, but then we're always going to have a like it was away at Folkestone, that night. It was a 0-0 draw, but we felt as if we'd come away with a 4-0 win. To go to Folkestone and do that. So we've had the highs and lows, and we may have 2 or 3 games where we think, not quite so sure, but then we know that there's going to be 2 or 3 where we're going to be on a high, if you see what I mean.
no, you're absolutely spot on, and I have been lucky up till now, like with you guys and the fans. I have got a strong affinity with you guys and the fans, and as I say, I've just been lucky up till now that a lot of positive things have happened, and you have stayed really like true and loyal, and you showed your support, because it's even with what's happening with the grounds and the politics outside of the playing field at the moment. You know, it's lucky that we are solid on the pitch, because it you know, being brutally honest again, as I always am, it could be toxic now. You know, if we was in the relegation zone and negative results, it would be off with my head, and you know, we ain't got a ground, blah blah blah. So always with people and worked on solid foundations, and yeah, like as I say, you fans are an absolute credit to yourselves, and you know, I enjoy talking to you after games. There's no problem there.
I mean, it's not luck, is it, Gary? It's because you've earned all of that through hard work and through everything you've done as a team and as a squad.
We work hard. We work hard on details, and I do pride ourselves on the training pitch. I do. Like me and John, we watch games, we watch highlights non-stop. We're talking to each other every night about stuff, and I'd like to think it's not luck, but then also, once again, I don't want to sound too big-headed and sound like I know it all. I'm a genius, because I'm not. I'm learning on the job still, and I've still got to keep improving as well, because the day I think I've cracked it, it'll be the day I get spanked. So, yeah, I just need to carry on.
Some people like being spanked, Gary.
No comment.
To me, it comes over that you can have a coaching system and you know, that tactical approach to a game, but you've got to, when you haven't got like an open-ended choice of players, you've got to know the strengths of each player and fit them into that system to make it successful. And whatever you're doing, it's so successful at the moment. We're in a great position where people must hate to play us. You know, we don't concede goals, so you're always in the hunt to take a win in a game, and that's what comes across to me. It reminded me a bit of the Horsham game, where the things we don't see going on behind the pitch, the little tweaks that you make tactically, are what controls a game. And we seem to, if it's not going too well first half, we seem to always come back and solve the problem in the second half. It reminded me of that Newcastle away to Arsenal. You saw Saka and Overgaard dominating play in the first half.
I knew he'd bring Arsenal into this.
And
yeah, you're top of the league. Yeah, all right.
Second half, you didn't see him, hardly anything of them, and it was just he changed something, but you didn't quite. You couldn't quite put your finger on what. But
I think we've got that. We've got that 9 times out of 10 right. I think we always, the whole staff, we're always, I think we're proactive with our subs and with formation changes. I think that for me, up till now, been, I reckon, the most pleasing thing for me as a manager, is that I think we've changed things and got most of our subs right. And I think little things against Lewis, where little twitches with TC going on the other side, Kane Pinker, it all helps. And even sometimes, John, do you know what? It's even a placebo thing, because if you're getting deep and then you're bringing on an attacker, you know, players will look over to the dugout and go, God, we're being brave here. We're going for the win. We're not sitting back. We're not going to just try and sit back on a point. So it's all that psychology, mind games, you know, even as well as game management, and how we do our formation. So yeah, thus far so good. You know,
I think it's been all right. The squad and the players as well. Like, we're so happy as a team. You got adaptable players that will do anything for the team. You know, if you're getting put in a different position that may be uncomfortable for you, you know, you could get a lot of players that just won't buy into that and just strop around maybe, or, you know, let the team down. Whereas in this team, you don't have any of that. Like, you could play any player anywhere and they'll do the best they can. Do you know what I mean? It's all very tight knit. But again, Gary, John, Brownie, everyone, you know, what they drill in the training pitch. The details, you can't not listen. If you're not listening, then we're getting bollocked, and you know the job of every player on the pitch. So it's a big. They definitely drum into us, is making sure you know the roles of you and everyone around you.
The thing is, it's like on Monday, it's teams like that, their staff their players, their fans are so desperate to beat us, and it's a massive 3 points to them. But why? We're not top. We're ninth. And it just means so much to beat Hastings because of what Hastings are and what's been built up over the last couple of years. They're all desperate to beat us, and yet we're not top. We're ninth. We're at the moment a mid-table club. It's and that's a nice thing to see. Is teams like that are so desperate still to beat Hastings.
Yeah.
Well, right then. So we were talking about August.
Sorry, yeah.
No,
we're a long way back.
We'll try and fly through it a little bit. Because I know I'm conscious everyone's been on here for a while. Just from a point of view of the drama. So, we lost Finn. He got that handball on the line. Did you put Alex in then, or did you put
3 centre backs on, didn't we, in that game?
Yeah, there we got. So we had Ollie Black come on. So he would have been the centre half then, wouldn't he?
He played Jake Elliott.
Oh, Jake Elliott went centre half. Okay, right.
Went Jake Elliott, and we got a great result at Lewis. And then that was sort of, I think, where did we go after that? Sorry. So obviously we had the disappointing result of Cray Valley, which we changed the team there. We had a few. Stoney was out injured, and there was Hassler out injured as well. Popey wasn't quite right that day either. So we had to change the team quite, and that obviously that shone throughout the game. To be fair, we looked weak that day, and then we come back with a vengeance at Kingstonian, which was a great display and one where we batted away from there quite nicely and went on a little run after that up to the Bishop Stortford game, which was another gutter really, because that was another game really nothing in it, and we shouldn't have lost that one either.
No, the ones we lost, obviously the 3-0 one, the scoreline.
But we battered them in the second half, didn't we? With 10 men, we absolutely battered them.
Yeah, we were brilliant second half.
I've been telling everyone that. Anyone who listens, I'm looking forward to Saturday to sort of. Obviously, they've had a very good season, but he would look at the score. There ain't been and think, it's a big loss. But it worked. We were annoyed that we hadn't won the game afterwards.
We played second half. I think we hit the bar a couple of times as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough game. I think you sort of when you go up, you think, crikey. Hornchurch away, Hornchurch at home. They're the ones that you want to do a battle with and see where how you compare up against these teams.
We've gone through September then.
All I was going to say is just two major signings. Joe Gabode was great for us in that first spell, and also which even now Jake Elliott. So people look at Jake Elliott, Alex Breffo, especially as well, like defenders and that. But
Kane Penn,
Kane Penn been probably so far for me alongside Breffo. They're defenders, but they bring you so much attacking qualities as well. You just got to look at Jake Elliott against Horsham. You look at Breffo, can stay up high. He attacks things. He turns over the ball higher up the pitch. And you're in a better set position on the counter attack because of that. And they're little things where people think, we're not bringing attacking players in. They're not defenders. It creates the whole shape of the team and how high you're playing up the pitch or your turnover, how quick you can attack teams. So they're just two massive. Like Jake Elliott was a major coup for us getting him back.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and as well, like you're saying, you're attacking your back players are part of the attack principle, but the defence this season is so obvious. It starts from the front as well, doesn't it? You got Popey chasing down things. I just thought of that TC tackle on the halfway line a couple of games back and thought, everyone's so committed and you're pressing high and it's the work that people are doing when we haven't got the ball that is really impressive as well.
Yeah, anything for the badge. Ben sort of said earlier on in the chat, every player's committed. Everyone knows their instruction with and without the ball, and now we're pressing. And it's major for us that the forward line are also defending correctly and getting the pressure on right.
Yeah, even better with this badge, eh?
Starts.
No comment.
No comment. Good. Right, October. So we'd start with a journey to Metropolitan Police. How much fun was that?
No. We weren't good at all that day. Very lucky to get the win. Some home truths after that game. I'll be honest with you, Met Police, Bishop Stortford, we probably just slumped slightly both within those games where we weren't quite up to standard. And then once again, the merges, we go for a little bit of a sticky spell and then look at the run we put together. Then the next two games were brilliant, and include Potter's Bar in that, because that was criminal that night. That was an absolute joke how we didn't beat them. They if it was a boxing match, it would have been called off. That for me is the best we've played. The first 45 in that game was immense, and they were lucky that night to get away with 3 points. Well, I don't know how they did it. I'm still gutted about it now. Yeah.
Popey, you still there, mate? Any thoughts on October? Obviously, you got a few goals there. Burgess Hill.
Yeah, Wingate and Finchley was a great game for us. We arrived, had like 25 minutes to get ready. Just got there, got on with it, and dominated the game. It was brilliant. Herne Bay again went and dominated. Potter's Bar, I wasn't there, wasn't involved. And then, yeah, Burgess Hill was good personally, and just for us to sort of get another, win on the board for the season.
Was that Alex Breffo's pile driver?
Yeah.
Burgess Hill one.
Yeah, what a goal.
That's a hell of a goal.
Unbelievable.
He's actually footed in here as well, I think. I couldn't tell you, he's that good.
Yeah, just before we go past, was Breffo's goal. It's that and the Hasler strike, in it, the goal of the season so far for me. Yeah, he's one against Brightlingsea. Monster of a hit, wasn't it?
So then November, couple of defeats to begin with, but they were tight games. Particularly that Enfield game. I can't believe we didn't get anything out of that game.
Yeah, another one. We've had a few, to be fair. Like, really, if you look at our points tally, when you go through it, you're like, geez, we're probably sort of 5 points should be, really. But I always gauge some like what our defeats are like. And we got beat 1-0 to Billericay, beat 1-0 to Enfield. You're going there, Billericay, at a midweek. I've been part of teams that have gone there and been completely rolled over on a Tuesday night and had their bellies tickled. And I learned so much from our team spirit and togetherness from them defeats. Like, if you can go to Billericay and be within a goal, and it's for me, it's nothing to be negative about. That you're in and amongst it, and that the players are rolling their sleeves up. And the both of them games, straight away, there was no negatives from me. There was positives from both of those games.
Okay. Anyone else for thoughts on November?
I love those two cup games, the Tuesday night ones.
Oh, the Velocity Champions League.
The Velocity Champions League game it was wonderful. As going back to that thing of bringing the kids through and stuff, because they had a as strong as they can put out team. And it could have been men against boys, but the boys won. Yeah, and it was great to watch. It was a shame there was only 150 there, because it was great fun. It was really good to see the kids coming through and how well they did.
Crawley Town was amazing, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When they filled in half their first side, more or less, and we fully deserved that result against them.
The Crawley side, I think the side they put out against us, there was 7 or 8 of them played in a game in the league the other day.
There's a lot of them. Yeah,
wonderful performance that. Yeah, those Tuesday nights were brilliant, very enjoyable.
Yeah, then obviously coming to end at Chippenham Town.
Slightly disappointed with that one, to be fair. Thought that was sort of the return of Joe Gabode for his second loan stint as well, wasn't it? And that was like a game of two halves for me. I didn't think we got out of the blocks that well that day, and then picked it up second half, and then finished. I can't remember their goal, but I wasn't too happy with their winning goal, if I remember. But really, we should have been. We should have won that. To be like in my mindset, I don't think we performed that well. But
I've got a memory of that game of you calling all the players around in the first half and telling them to effing wake the F up very loudly.
That's not like me, Ian. I wasn't happy because Chippenham hadn't won an away game up to then, and I still look back on that and it still annoys me slightly because you do want perfection, which you're never going to get. But yeah, just one of the things, we wiped our mouths and get back to the training ground and get back at it.
And so November we obviously then beat Corinthian Casuals, who are probably the worst team I've seen at the Pilot Field this season. Would you agree with that?
It's strange as well, because it's strange because they have actually picked up a few results as well after us. I think they beat Billericay. They beat Billericay at Billericay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they're off the bottom.
They had a good weekend as well, didn't they? Or Monday even, maybe. I think that was quite a very good result for them, I think.
I agree.
Vinny scored as well, didn't he?
I agree agreed with you, Chris. At the time,
Yeah.
I thought that they're not a great team, but I actually look back at it and think maybe we underestimated the margin of victory that day. Maybe. So
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, well, we'll beat them anyway.
So I was going to say Bogner was a brilliant point.
Yeah.
The chances to win that as well. Canvey, we should have won. And that's another similar game to Potter's Bar. Was banging my head after that night because we should have won that game. And then we've had a fantastic festive period where, if someone said to me, he's going to take 7 out of 9 points, I would have gone, yep, that'll do for us. And it's gone to plan, on pay, always write down a little 5-game target. And I had Margate as a win. I had Lewis as a win and I had Horsham as a draw. So it's gone to plan.
Get down the bookies, mate.
Yeah. What's the lorry numbers?
I'm not betting on that.
Well, that is December. Ben, do you want to say anything about December?
Christmas is a great time of year, isn't it?
Certainly is.
Yeah, it was apart from Bogner again, like you say, good point. Not a bad performance. Probably could nicked it maybe. Canvey was a horrible game, freak sort of goal, and then they just parked the bus. And then just like the last 3 games, we've been firing. It was it's good at the moment. So it's we're now in January and just trying with 8 games. It's a massive month, really.
Yeah, he would be promoting Christmas, wouldn't he, with his popey pointed hat and everything.
Normally,
I think it's
injured, to be honest, over Christmas.
I think it's the new boots Popey got for Christmas. They're both left-footed.
Yeah, he runs circles around them.
Go into January sales and get some scoring ones.
So
I need to take the rockets off them. It won't be so quick though.
Can I ask?
I was going to say, I read a few match reports and they said that I was deceptively quick as well when I was playing.
I want to know what they meant at Horsham that Craig's abrasive. I don't abrasive centre half, Craig Stone. What's that all about?
He must have had a
Can I ask Gary? Looking at all the teams we played in this division we've jumped up to, is there any team you can look at and think they were better than us? We don't really have a chance of beating them.
No,
there's no one, is there?
No,
we've competed in every game apart from probably the Cray Valley Cup game. Every game we've been right there.
Yeah, totally agree. They just all seem to the top sort of playoff teams, and they've all got like a big stocky striker that scores goals. They all seem to have like a headlining act, but other than that, there's no difference. As I say, I feel we should probably have got 5 or 6 points, maybe more on the board if you look just at our performances and what they've deserved. But I've said it in numerous sort of newspaper interviews down our way. I've just said there's definitely nothing to fear, and that's I still stay that point of view. There is nothing to fear.
And I think what you said before to me was great. Really, you can have teams and they've got their star players, or you can have a team like you've put together where there's no big egos, and it's the big egos that spoil the whole team spirit, isn't it?
It is 100%, and I'll always want that team spirit and camaraderie. I always want them to see me as a friend, but I think Mal hit the nail on the head as well. That there's got to be that line in the sand where there's got to be a little bit of fear there that if you don't perform, if you're not honest with me, then we ain't going to get along. And the thing I think I do well, and I've probably learned that through plumbing and my business side of it, is that I will eyeball anyone up and I will tell them what I feel they've got to be told. And I always allude to that Marcus Goldsmith conversation I had. That was another one. I remember sort of a couple of fans were saying, I don't think you've done that right, Gary, like letting Marcus go. But I've got to stay true to my guns. I knew I had the budget, what I had to work with, and I knew what we might get away with and what we might not get away with. And just said it was a tough conversation. It sort of almost ended in tears on both parties. But I just said I'll always eyeball anyone up and tell them what I think. And do what's right by Hastings.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, fellas, thank you very much for this. Thank you for this review of 22. Does anyone want to say anything else, or I'll pack it in?
Just thanks for your time, both. Brilliant.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Enjoyed it.
Popey, super Elphick. Thank you.
In the job for another week. That's all.
It's out of it. Right.
Yeah.
Malcolm knows, my agent knows. Don't worry.
Yeah. We review
Oh,
it.
he's got his fingers into you now as well, has he, Gary? Oh.
Hey, you can't beat him. He's got Kent on lockdown. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I've got Kent on lockdown. I've got a few of them boys.
I said, why is Leon still at Icklesham?
Well, is Leon still alive? Nobody hears from Leon Pettit, do they? But I do know that Gary's got some money, Christmas money, that he's willing to spend. So I'll be knocking on his door in the next couple of weeks.
Easter's coming, Bill.
Yeah.
My boys don't come cheap. My boys don't come cheap.
All right.
But no, just a quick one from me, Chris, just to thank all the fans and been like absolutely brilliant. Thank my players, my staff, and hopefully we can just keep bringing smiles on faces, and we'll be working hard for it, and we'll be going for it.
Wow, it's been a great 22, mate. What a year for the team. Anyway, Ben, thank you, Ben, Big Mount,
Thanks,
Ian,
Ben.
John,
Gary.
George, and of course Gary.
Cheers,
also.
Appreciate it.
See you again.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers,
Lads,
Cheers,
thank you.
See you later.
That's it for another week, grassroots football fans. Whoever you're going to watch this week, make sure you're loud and proud. As ever, if you want to get in contact with the show, or have any suggestions, or want to get in on our weekly roundtables, that email again is hufcpod@gmail.com, or on the Twitter, which is @HUFCpodcast. You can get this podcast on all major platforms, be it Google Podcasts, Audible, iTunes, Spotify, or Amazon Music. And we have a jam-packed YouTube channel, chock-a-block, full of video interviews and episodes from the podcast. Please, please, please give it a look, a comment, or a like, but definitely subscribe. It's all free. All that's left for me to say is, I've been your host, Chris Laverick. Hope you have a good week, and see you at the game.